Hi there and Happy New Year. We are back at the big Goodwill. It has been slim pickings, and you could say, what do you mean slim pickings? I'm looking at two shelves full of stuff. But it's slim pickings for me to find cool things for you. But I do walk away with a couple little things that I thought were really sweet. I thought this was neat. I think it was at this Goodwill that I found the blue egg cup that I bought, but this one I didn't really like the style of it. It does have that definite 50s look to it, but I left that one there. This blue glass pops out on the clear glass section because it's mixed in with the clear glass. This was a really pretty decanter. I was feeling around to see if the inside was ground down, if it was missing its little stopper. I didn't really feel anything. I was hoping that this could magically turn to green uranium glass. If it was green uranium glass, I definitely would have picked that up, but instead I left it and I spied this blue glass bowl. I thought it was really, really pretty. It had kind of a cast metal base to it. I carefully flipped it over. It was $19.99, maybe Home Goods, something like that. I'm not quite sure. It was very, very pretty. I did like the flow and the style of it, but I decided to not get it. Here is the other candle holder. In a previous video I mentioned, I think we were at the effort of Goodwill, I mentioned seeing this, and here's the original one that I saw. This is a Princess House candle holder. There's 4 little spots for your taper candles in there. You can see that there are some Garfield glasses on there. Jenny has a collection of these. I collected them through Goodwill. We have the ones where he is on the playground. And giving you a look at the shelves on this side. This was a cute little glass teddy bear figurine paperweight. Had the Bollicante in there, but it was not controlled. That's when the bubbles are in a uniform pattern. This was just kind of all over the place. The swans are still there, but look at this cutie pie. This vintage Japanese, made in Japan planter I thought was very sweet. Definitely has a 1950s style to it. It's not worth a ton of money, but it's in great shape, and so I decided that could be the first thing that goes in my cart. The next thing I spied was this little reindeer head, and it has a cute vintage look to it. But then I noticed that one of the antlers had been repaired. Not so terrible if it's for yourself, I think, but for resale, I don't want to sell something that has that huge major crack to it. Then I noticed that there was a hole on its nose. So I wonder if a light bulb somehow went on top of its nose or in its nose. So if you know, please let me know. I don't think it's a hobbyist piece. It kind of has that hobbyist piece look to it, but I don't think it is. I could be wrong. So if you know what that is, please let me know. I think it was for a light bulb. I guess you could put a plant in there, but I think it was more for a light bulb. That was a nice little planter, but I decided to move on and took a quick look at the plates. I thought that maybe this was a stack of measuring cups, but they seemed awfully big. And they weren't marked. Maybe they were marked on the inside, but it gave me the feel of measuring cups. I wanted to see who made that figurine. And then I'm moving things out of the way to see who made this basket. With Easter coming up, I like to sell baskets, glass, ceramic. If they're decorative and pretty, I like to sell them. And I think Easter time is a good time when people are looking for them for their decorations. And then I wanted to see what this was. I think it was a jewelry box. And then right there on the top was a July angel. I had picked up a December angel that we decided to keep because Jimmy's birthday is in December. And this one I did buy, but I was a little disappointed that it was so clean, which seems kind of silly, but it's always fun to clean them up. But she is in great shape. I wasn't sure what that was made of. That's why I was looking at that swan. It was plastic. This latch kit was marked, but I wasn't quite sure how much it was. And then I flipped it over and it was $6.99 on the back. And so I decided to leave that. I do pick up latch kit hook kits from time to time, but I decided to leave that one. And I thought this was a nice large serving tray. That would be a perfect background drop, like on a mantle, I think, with that black, with the pop of colors. I thought that was very pretty. I believe that these are solar power lights that are upside down. And on the top shelf here, I spied this vase. I have one similar at home. I believe this is Bristol glass. You do see me put it in my cart. I do think about it for a little bit, but then I did change my mind and put it back because I have the one at home that I haven't listed yet. And then I have my first win of the year. I spied this cute little owl, and I thought at first it was Artisania rinconata, but it is not marked. The Artisania figurines usually have initials. It looks like AR on the bottom of it. This one is not marked. I did look up on the website to see if this is an older one. I could not find a match to this one. Definitely the Artisania style, but I don't believe it is made by them. This doggy had a chip on its tail, and it had something originally in its mouth that it was missing. And then here are two cute little hobbyist ghosts. But I decided just to stick with the owl and keep on looking. I did look up those momentarily. They were Coca-Cola glasses, but this clown was creeping me out, so I moved on. Here is another look at the shelves. See anything that I should have picked up? This was really pretty. This is cut to clear in the red. I thought, isn't that nice? It's such a nice little size. And I almost picked it up, but then, did you see it? Look at that. Giant chip out of the side of it. And so that stayed there. What does this spell? A-S-E. Same. I think it spells out same. And it looks like they all link together. This thing here, they all link together or hold something, or maybe that's how they are. Again, I wasn't quite sure. It was the acrylic that drew my attention because I do like finding vintage acrylic or lucite items, but I think it did spell same. I'm not quite sure. So again, if you know what that is and you're like, oh, it's this and this is how you put it together, please let me know. I've picked these up in the past. The back had a lot of wear to it, and that is the reason why I left it. And also the colors were kind of on the dull side, in my opinion. I thought this was really pretty. This is a very old hobbyist piece. You could see the person's signature there at the top above the price tag. I think they were little forget-me-nots. I thought that was very sweet, but didn't think it would be a high profit item for me, so I did leave that on the shelf. I thought at first that this was the state of Oregon or Washington, but it's not. I don't think it's Montana. I can't really identify what state that is, but it has that heart there that's specifying a certain town or a city in the state. So that is the main reason why I left that there. It was signed on the bottom. Looking back at the shelves here, there is a lot of things, just not a lot of things for me. Here's another vintage piece. I thought that was sweet. Vintage hobbyist piece. This glass flower reminded me of the Corning Museum of Glass. They have those for sale up there. That was $6.99 for that huge heavy piece of glass, and I thought this was unusual. I didn't understand why the chicks were in the sofa, and I kind of had a feeling they didn't go together, because why would you put chicks coming out of an egg in a sofa? I don't know. This looked like Hollywood Regency to me. And giving you a look here as well. This was before the holidays, so it was very, very crowded. There's a lot of families, a lot of talking, and so that is why this has the voiceover, because this Goodwill tends to be on the loud side. This is when, remember that one video where the baby was crying and crying and crying, and I tried to mute it. You guys were so nice about it. But I don't like it to be loud and obnoxious for you. Look what I found on an end cap. Here was the March boy. I remember going to an in-person auction, and they had all of the months in the boys, which is, I believe, unusual to find. You usually see the girls all the time. So I decided to give him a good, thorough once-over and then put him in the cart, making sure he hadn't been beheaded or had a huge chip. He has a little bit of a wear on his thumb, but then look at this. Oh, I'm not picking that up. That is crazy. These were really cute, but a little bit on the high side for me. They were $4.99 for that one, and that one didn't have a price, but probably it was $4.99 as well. At first, I wasn't sure what this was. I thought it was a napkin holder. It had a nice little three-dimensional look to the covered bridge. And then when I turned it around to see, oh, is this a napkin holder? I don't think it was. I think it was just a design. I think this is called a Crazy Daisy pattern. They had two of the mugs there. And if you were in the market for a trash can bag, or a hanging trash can, they had a ton of them. Look how many they had. They had a lot of them. There's some stitchery kits. I love stitchery kits. That one's open.
$10.45. Yeah.
$10.
Mm-hmm.
$10. That's silly. $10 for these stitchery kits.
Yeah.
$10 for all of these.
Okay. Nice. All right. Bye-bye.
See how long these are going to be here for $10 a piece. That's pretty. Look, this is $6.99. This is cheaper than the stitchery kits. The stitchery kits that I like to look out for are usually, it's called Gold Collection, and they look like they're in a little shopping bag. Those are really, really good money. I didn't even bother to look these up because they were $10 a piece, and I thought that was pretty high. Especially the hand-thrown pottery bowl was cheaper. Silliness. I don't understand their pricing policy sometimes, but oh well, what are you gonna do? Moving on. I thought this was an interesting bell. Had a neat look to it. And then this, I knew what this was because my mom recently bought Skagway. That's the Skagway puzzle poster for Jimmy for Christmas, and I promptly put it together. And so those are really nice. So if all the pieces were there, that was a good deal. And then you have a nice little box that the puzzle pieces came in. This was very, very pretty. $3.99, not that bad of a price. But then I noticed there was a crack around the bottom of it. So that is why she stayed there. And also her halo was broken off. This, surprisingly, is still here. Still has all its fingers, which is a small miracle. This was over in the toy section. Definitely not a toy. It was a very large, heavy, from $19.99 resin horse figurine. And I do like to pick up horse items because people like horse items, and I don't really think they're that plentiful. I thought this was different. The color choice on it was different. It wasn't marked. They had a little bit of chipping to the top little knobby thing there, so that is why that stayed on the shelf. We're going to wrap up our trip here to the big Goodwill. Coming up next is everything that I purchased on this trip. I had picked up this kit on a recent shopping trip. I didn't show it. And what it is a counter cross stitch of all of the months. And I did May 1st because it's in the middle of the piece, and you're supposed to always start in the middle. Then I did April. And then Jenny last night said, oh, are you going to do December next to you for Daddy? And I thought, oh, that is a great idea. And then I'll be done. So I just wanted to share with you my progress. We have April, May, and then Jimmy is December. I'll show it to you when I am finished. Just thought I'd share. Here are the items that I purchased. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are having a great start to the new year, and I'll see ya.